Yeah, so let's get
go
on to
into
that.
red flag.
And your time in the US as well.
And the time in the US. Well, I mean, I've done very little time in the US apart from military exercises, although I've had a couple of family holidays since. The first red flag I got involved in, or exercise red flag, sort of came out of the need to be able to train in a realistic environment, and the Americans came up with this sort of post-Vietnam War. It's one of the many things that, just like the Top Gun school, came out and actually started to provide that sort of training for the Americans. And then eventually the Americans started inviting other nations along, and particularly post Gulf War One, when it was very obvious that actually the Americans had to work with all of the other nations' assets as well. Then quite clearly all those assets need to train together. And that is the whole aim of Red Flag. So Red Flag exercises operate out of Nellis Air Force Base. There are other flag exercises as well, and there's other things like Copper Flag, Green Flag. Green Flag exercises, from memory, I never did one, are to do with electronic warfare. Copper Flag is something else, but So there are specific aims, but the red flag exercises basically encompass this, and they use the ranges that are north of Nellis. In fact, they're north of Area 51 as well, which is one of the challenges, not to stray into Area 51 in the middle of one of these big battles.
Yeah.
So every red flag period is normally 2 weeks. So you've got the same crews there for the 2 weeks, and the whole idea is to build up experience. So it's starting from basics, and it's quite often shows what works, what doesn't, with the idea that leaders can package together things where tactics actually work. So I did 2 red flags, should have been 3. The first red flag we went out there, we did Red Air. So we went out there to supplement their aggressor squadron, opposing the Blue Forces, doing all the practice. So for us, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun with not an awful lot of work put into it, because we're flying sort of 4 ships, 6 ships to supplement the F-16 aggressors that are there permanently at Nellis Air Force Base to provide that role. And you're under their direction, so you're simulating a particular threat, which at the time, back in the 90s, it was very much the former Soviet threat. MiG-21s, MiG-23s, MiG-29s. Obviously not in our case, because we couldn't do the turning, but that's what the F-16s were there for.